Testing, testing. Testing, testing. How are you? Hi, Jill. How are you? Hello. How y'all doing? My pen.
She said she should never be here because she didn't have to stay late when she was at her job.
You may just be running a little late.
She's got 3 more minutes.
I just, my particular spouse was like,
Hi, good. How are you? All right.
Had a very, very close friend of mine, 5 years.
so there was already an appreciation just from like
Came,
being part of the city and knowing like the different things, especially like what's.
I mean, we were,
He never complained about chest pain enough.
he was complaining that day. He took hit the threshold and he just built it up. They rushed him in, tried to.
So Anna and I are doing that, and then I
He
can
had to go
see
to the neighborhood
if you
for
thought of
children.
anything else we
Okay.
missed.
Yeah, I've been hearing horror stories about people that retire and then a month later they pass away and they come back.
Friend that she lived in Lakewood, now she's moved out. She sent me this card. She makes
Oh, really? It's beautiful. Oh, nice. Beautiful. He makes these? Really? Is she in town?
She still lives in Lakewood.
Oh, really? Oh, that heart attack.
Yeah.
I didn't say, oh, yeah. Getting scared here.
This time.
You know what's sad is I think we already know. He'll go away.
And then they just getting worse and worse. It's 6:30, so let's go ahead and start. Good evening and welcome to the City of Leon Valley Special City Council meeting. Today's Monday, August 10th, 2026, and it's approximately 6:30 in the evening. And as you can see, we have all city council members present with the exception of Councilor Bolton, who I believe is on her way. And I will ask Councilor Mersch if you'll please lead us in the pledge. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, let me move to, let me make a note of Danielle. Still not here. Okay. Presentation is number 2. Presentation and a discussion and a workshop on the ordinance related to the fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed budget. Our first reading was held on June the 6th of this summer, and we have Dr. Caldera, our city manager, to present. But again, my understanding is this is just a discussion. We're not going to be voting on anything tonight. So anyway, with that said, welcome Dr. Caldera, and Carol is coming, and some of the other staff members. Regina's here, and Michael Gallardo, and Lisa, and of course the chiefs. Thank you. Good to see y'all. All right. And Dr. Caldera said she changed it again. So was that just, oh, you were just being facetious? Okay.
Yeah, there's one, so not really a change. I will indicate it on one of the slides, but we can have a discussion about it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna click on, okay, there it goes. So I'm gonna move through the slides fairly quickly. A lot of the slides you all have seen already, but the important parts I'll go over, the important parts I will go over with y'all. If at any time you need me to slow down or you want me to back up, just raise your hand or let me know.
Okay.
All right, so as most of you know, we've had a significant impact on our ad valorem tax. We are down in property valuations by $5 million when you take a look at it from totality standpoint. We do have some new exemptions, as mentioned to y'all. We have the other exemptions, including public property, House Bill 66, and then you have your regular exemptions that you have. And the reason that I added this slide, it's important to note that right here, this exemption here, there's a $44 million exemption under the XV exemption. And so the big thing about that is that's coming off of your tax roll. It is Timber Hill, I didn't put it in the PowerPoint, it's Timber Hill Commons. Essentially what they're claiming is either public housing or affordable housing for that entire apartment complexing, asking for the total amount of property tax to be exempt for that entire apartment complex. They are currently in litigation with the county at this moment, or the appraisal district. And so until they come out of litigation, they will remain exempt.
And
so
where is that apartment building?
Timber Hill
again?
Commons, back on this side,
Is
going
that,
up.
Is that one of the newer ones?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that was, gosh,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. On Grissom.
Grissom all the
right,
way down.
Where the new car wash is.
Yes,
back-
to the
back
right.
behind
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know where that is. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Counselor Campos.
Is this related to, wasn't there something I saw in the news about a jurisdiction can make something tax exempt if it's a certain investment, but they can do it in somebody else's taxable property value?
Yes, so House Bill 9 allowed for a few exemptions, and a lot of it had to do with business and personal property. But the EXEB, and especially specifically for housing, it allows now for public housing or affordable housing, if you meet certain criteria, to be considered exempt. And you can do it under different, I don't know all the legalities among it, but you can do it under different business names in litigation, and the big point for us here was they had just been sold in 2023 from the previous original owner, but then this company came in 2025, bought it, and then deemed it exempt. And so there is some time overlap situation. We don't have new certificate of occupancies for the switch from 23 to 25. So we're working on that side on our end, and the appraisal district is working on it from a litigation standpoint on their end. But until then, that amount is the major contributing factor to your exemption value loss.
And what is that amount again?
$66 million.
66 million?
Yes, in
Oh, wow.
exemptions.
And there's claiming what exemption they're,
What I'm thinking is public housing or
Public
affordable,
housing?
or affordable housing, that
Okay.
you can Google that EXEV description, but it basically allows them to be exempt.
okay. All right, yes, Counselor Orozco, I thought you had applied for Section 8
Yes,
earlier or before.
So I
you-
think that's why they're in litigation,
Yeah.
and that doesn't have anything
Okay,
to do with
excuse
this.
me. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I really like what you did here. I don't know, we had this information last year and about the disabled veterans and stuff. But on 2025, you had the numbers. Is that just the new ones that are being added to the total, or that's the total of the?
That was the total amount of exemptions in 2025. This is to illustrate how much they've gone up. And so you'll see some have gone down, disabled vets have gone down, but you have like over 65 has gone up. So you'll see just the different variations, but your total exemption loss is 66 million.
Okay, we didn't have this last year, right? That information?
I didn't put it in the slide. I think I emailed y'all a version of
No,
it.
I really like this, and it just shows that disabled veterans are just a real small percentage of the homestead.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, you have disabled veterans are really from here to here.
Mhm.
Right, so, but you have seen that some of them have moved over, some of them are surviving spouse. But yes, for the most part, they've either gone down, what you see, what's gone up is your homestead exemption, your over 65 exemption, your new HB 9 exemptions, cause they're brand new. And then your other exemption, which is an EV, XV, and
Yeah.
you'll see like religious stuff under that amount, but when I specifically asked what was the greatest impact here, it was $44 million from Timber Hill Commons.
And another note on that, Dr. Cardetta, if I can just mention that, just because you're a disabled veteran doesn't mean that you don't pay taxes. The only way you don't pay taxes is if you 100% or unemployable. But other than that, even if you're 90%, you're still going to pay taxes. So to put that out there.
Okay. Is that on the 10% that you're not disabled, then you pay on that? Okay. Okay. All right, very good, thank you.
So this is your tax rate over the years. So this is a slide I added, and this is where I'm gonna make the change. So your current tax rate for FY '26 is 0.545040. And originally, we went back to ask the county, what our INS rate is, and our INS rate went up to 0.050 is the county's recommendation that our INS rate needs to be at. What Carol did was she increased what the county gave her to 0.49, but essentially keeping your M&O rate the same. So what's going up is your INS rate is going up, and your M&O rate stays the same, which is an increase of 0.3. It's 1/10 of a penny. It's 0.0315. Help me out, Carol. I don't remember that whole number. Yeah, that.
I'm so, oh,
Go read it out loud, Carol.
yeah, go ahead, tell us what it is.
It's 0.003135.
And it's on another slide. So that's originally what we were asking for, was that, there you go, 0.003135. I am gonna kind of throw a wrench in that a little bit. So today, Philip called and asked me about our debt service account and what we can use our debt service. So I'm gonna jump from slides, you're just gonna have to listen to me just a little bit. What we can use our reserve fund and your debt service account. And what you can use your debt service reserve fund for is debt only. So it is used for future debt, or it can be used for your current debt. You do have to have money in your reserve fund. At some point, somewhere, somebody told me roughly a year, but I asked Debbie and she's like, there's not really anything in writing, like in best practices or anything that you have to have 1 year. But you should have some money in reserve, because sometimes you'll get your payment for your debt and you won't have all of your property tax in because it lags. So you should have money in reserve in order to make sure you can make your debt service payment. But do we need 600,000 sitting in your debt service reserve fund? I do think you need some money sitting over there for the example that I just gave. But I do think in this budget year, if you want to take the 36, keep your tax rate exactly the same, 0.545040, and not go up the 0.0031, you can take that, you can take that I know I have it somewhere in here. Wait out. Oh, here. You can take that 32,000 from your reserve fund, from your debt service account, and keep your tax rate the same and not impact your budget,
Oh,
if you want to do that.
okay. All right, we're kind of jumping around here. Go ahead. Yes, Counselor Campos.
So.
So we
it-
wouldn't
it-
have a
it's-
3-cent.
It's in our
reduction.
presentation.
It's not 3 cents, it's 1/10 of a penny.
Yeah, but
Is,
$3.08 increase?
if,
That's,
well,
that's
if we
annual.
don't, if we don't
That's
make
annual.
this, it would be
It
no
would be-
increase.
It would be no increase,
It would actually be a decrease because it would be the same tax rate.
correct.
So we take what amount of money from the debt reserve fund to keep the INS rate the same?
Right.
How much would that be?
It would be roughly,
About 32,000.
32,000, okay.
and so what I was mentioning this morning to Dr. Caldera is that I'm seeing our debt service fund increase. So between the 24-25 budget year to the 25-26, we had an increase of 15,006. Part of it was due to interest
Mm-hmm.
that we just
What
discussed.
page is that?
On the presentation, I have it at page.
150s, the 156.
Okay, thank you.
And so my question was, I'm seeing the balance increase. So if I could see what we would need an increase in that INS rate if we were losing money, right? But I don't see that. And so I was asking the question this morning, can we use some of that reserve so we don't have to increase the tax rate at all?
So you're in favor of taking the $32,000 out and not increasing the?
I would,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. I think you're okay. I would just, you're gonna have to, so if every year you look at that debt service, you're going to have to play it with scenario each year and make sure you keep enough in your reserve account. I don't think this is a long-term plan, because if you let it get out of hand, you'll at one point need to cover that amount, and then you're gonna have to go from literally no increase to 6 cents. You have to pay attention to it each year you do it. So it's not a practice unless you're having somebody watch what you're doing every year, because if you just go into this method, I leave, Philip leaves, nobody's paying attention, you continue to do that, you will deplete that reserve fund if nobody's watching, and then 1 year you're gonna have to shoot up your tax rate. So you can, I recommend, yes, absolutely, I agree, you can do it this year. You could probably do it depending on what your tax rate is on oncoming years for a little bit. I would just caution you to make sure you continuously watch that account. But for this year, if you don't want to go up and you want to keep your tax rate exactly the same, you can definitely do that.
And, you know, my thought is, as we move forward with the new developments that we have, our taxable base will start increasing. And so hopefully, you know, there won't be large tax increases. Hopefully, we then can add whatever services that the council as a body thinks are necessary. Is it additional police officers? Is it additional public works? You know, as we're growing with these hike and bike trails, we're just gonna put more pressure on our public works staff. Because as we all know, our citizens are sensitive to, hey, we don't like tall grass. And, well, hike and bike's gonna have to be maintained. And so we don't have additional staff, but we're gonna have more to cut once we start developing those hike and bike trails.
So did I hear that the increases in the debt
Service reserve
service
fund.
is primarily due to interest?
The majority of
The
it looks like
majority of it
it's
is interest, and what else would it be? I mean, it's
Just, I mean, you're just getting a little bit more in your tax, in that
Okay.
tax rate that year
Okay.
than what you need to expend. They try to get it pretty close, but
Okay.
nothing's 100%.
because we have to pay out of that, all of, we
Right.
have that list of all of the debts that we have to pay.
Correct.
for
Well, you
our-
have your amortization
Yeah.
chart, and the amortization chart tells us what your expenditures should be. And Philip pointed one out to me earlier, and I'm gonna just have to go do a little bit of research for FY '24. It adds up differently, but the last 2 years it does. So I just have to go see what we did. It could be just like a slight error, like we just took a ruler and it just wasn't on the right line. It doesn't really do much, but that could have been the issue, and that could have contributed to a slight increase. But I know in 2023, we had a big increase. I want to say it was close to $30,000 in interest. We just had a good interest year that year in tax pool. But the money in those funds stay in those funds. So you can use them for a future bond to leverage future bond money. You can use it only for your debt. So you can use it and apply it to your INS. But you just have to watch it every year, because you should keep some money. I would probably recommend keeping about 200,000 in there, 250, just to make sure you have enough money to offset when you don't get your property tax in time in order to cover your debt service payment.
And there's a projection in that slide, what, 150 or whatever it is. Why mine is off is mine's off the
Packet,
agenda,
and mine's off of a regular PowerPoint.
and this is just the regular presentation. So
Okay,
that's why the pages.
It's the page didn't line up, so I'll have to
Yeah.
find it. Okay,
So,
thank you. That's what I was going.
I
oh,
have
no, that's not it.
153 is where I have it, if you
Mhm.
printed it from the agenda.
No, I printed, I don't know, Sandra printed.
So
it.
it'd be around 150 for
Okay.
probably, and it says debt.
And we'll get there. I was
Yeah.
just, I mean, it's, I can go and skip to that slide and y'all can see the slide, but it's at the very, very end. But that's the way that's the best way to explain it to you is you're, in layman's terms, you're keeping your tax rate exactly the same. We're just gonna take that 30,000 that results from the debt service reserve fund. There you go.
Okay.
Simplest way to put it.
All right, yes. Counselor Heil.
I think our citizens will appreciate not another tax increase. And it was kind of interesting, I was walking at the park, and I met this young man. He's a firefighter for San Antonio. He told me last year, his insurance and the tax rate went up $300 a month. And he said, I didn't get an increase of $300 a month. He said, if you give me another one, I'll have to decide what to do.
Right. And that goes the same for our police and fire when we
Right.
talk about increases and stuff as well. They're facing the same struggles, but that's the big portion of your budget.
I just wanted to make a note that Counselor Bolton has joined us, so thank you. We're so glad you're here. And I've made,
tardiness.
it's okay. 6:43 is when you got here. Just wanted to make sure that that was on the record. Okay, very good. Any other questions on the debt service before we go
Yeah.
on?
And we'll get there, and you'll
Okay.
see the slide, and I'll kind of
Alright.
stop on it and go over it. But so I'm hearing from y'all don't want to see the 1/10.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear, because people are like, oh, I heard 3 cents. This is 1/10 of a penny.
Just an aside, we were at the Hog Wild on Friday, so I was asking the city manager of Universal City how their budget went. Oh, I mean, they've already got it posted at the Express News. I mean, they're blowing and
Yeah.
going. But she said that, and just an FYI in the future, we're not going to do it now, but their council or her council just wanted a flat number, like 53,000. They didn't want all the different numbers around it, so they crafted it to where it was just a number that you could understand, like 0.53. That's it.
Well,
So-
ours is 0.54, but
But
so
she said instead of all of the different zeros
Zeros
and 1 and 8 and
right.
7,
so what you
that's-
tell your taxpayers and everybody else, you tell them
No,
0.54.
that's right.
We don't tell them 0.54.
Mhm.
But when I'm going down, I'm trying to get it to the penny. I can, absolutely, but I won't do it at 0.54000. I'm going to do it
Mhm.
0.55000
Mm-hmm.
because you're closer to that, right? If you go take a look, and that's an additional. If I go to 0.5000, that's an additional probably $30,000 in your budget
Yeah.
as well. So that's
Yeah.
increasing your
Yeah.
tax rate.
I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that that was a kind of an interesting conversation that
Yeah.
they wanted just a flat,
Yeah.
for every.
It's a good. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
going to do it, you could keep it easily read.
Yeah.
In that concept, but you're always gonna roll it to the highest penny. So that's what they're doing. They're just rolling it to the highest penny.
Yeah. Yes, Counselor Campos.
I do want to applaud you having such a detailed budget. It's not numbers that you pulled out, you know, and I think that's where you need to get to the additional numbers. The degree of accuracy that you have here is pretty thorough. It's phenomenal, okay? To say, okay, well, here in the office supplies, or here in supplies, it's made of this. It's not some, well, I think it's $3,500 or whatever that is. You have it broken down, so I applaud that.
Well, yeah, if you look at, I mean, you can go look at the 28 other cities. I think I'm probably the most detailed in these budget presentations for y'all. So feel free to go do a comparison and pull down everybody else's budget and kind of take a look. So go ahead and, so that's the history of the tax rate. We kind of went over the rate. Here you go, it's the 0.00315. I'm no longer recommending that. I'm recommending the same tax rate at 0.54, or the same one that you have the year prior. So you do still have a balanced budget. We're gonna move on to the general fund. That leaves you with 5.9 in your capital fund reserve, 1.2 in your emergency fund, and your future capital. The reason that this has changed is because now your budget is balanced. You have 1 month in operating, 5.7 months in operating income. Oops. And you are sitting at a surplus. This actually will change if we do, if I move the money over, it'll go up a little bit. I think it's close to 7,000. You'll be in the surplus.
I'm sorry, you said move the money over. What do you mean by that?
If you move the 32,000 from your debt service over,
Okay.
it decreases, it does something.
Yes, so,
I just want to make sure we understand.
Once you have the same INAs and the same M&O as last year,
Mhm.
that amount for the general fund is just gonna increase like another 3,000, so it's gonna be at a surplus of 7,000
Oh,
by doing that change on the
really?
tax rate.
Wow.
But it does gonna
Okay.
affect the INAs a little bit more by those
Okay,
$32,000.
so it's going to increase by keeping the rate
Yes.
the same. Okay, very good, thank you. Appreciate that clarification.
So in order to balance your budget, this is what the staff and I did. We decreased, so for those of you that don't know, last week I meet with each director. We spend 2 days meeting with each department. They have to go through their budget, tell me what they think they're gonna spend, any rollovers, any budget adjustment, and if they haven't spent it all, then we start taking a look at some cuts for this budget. So we start off kind of there. One of the ones we found is the payroll forms. The cost for that has went down, and so we decreased that by $1,000. Planning and zoning contractual services for My Permits Now decreased by $8,400. Health insurance. So you'll see a presentation on the 18th. We're doing no increase on your health insurance. But by doing no increase on your health insurance, we did do a few things to the base plan of the health insurance. And so now there will be a pot of $400 for emergency room visits, which means if you go to the emergency room and you're not admitted, you have to pay the $400. If you are admitted, then you don't have to pay the $400. So it'll help hopefully control your emergency room visits from the staff. Your maximum out of pocket did go up like $3,000. Your deductible, your maximum out of pocket went up like $3,000. Your deductible went up $1,000. And then your prescription coverage stayed the same. Your preventative care went down $5. Your urgent care went down slightly, but then it's 70% coverage instead of 80% coverage. So the staff is getting a lower base plan. We do have a buy-up option for them. The buy-up option this year did go up. And so if they want a traditional plan like we had this year, they can buy up, but it's gonna be substantially more expensive for them to do so. We will present that health insurance plan, but that's what I'm recommending this year. And that will keeping your health insurance the same, saves you $147,000.
Okay, is that $1,000 deductible per claim?
It's not 1,000, no, your total deductible is $3,000.
3,000.
Yes,
Okay.
it went up 1,000.
It went up
Last year
1,000.
was
Okay, 'cause
2,000.
You said increase, so I wasn't sure.
Sorry,
So it's
yes.
3,000 is
Yes.
their
And Lisa
deductible.
will go into more, again,
Yeah,
I'm
I
shooting off the
understand.
top of my head, guys,
Okay,
so
I got you.
please forgive me if I said anything wrong, but that's pretty
So,
much.
we're still staying with the same provider?
United Healthcare's who we're
Uh-huh.
staying with, Blue Cross Blue Shield went up 49%. And if we would have stayed with the same plan, it would have been a 19% increase, which I also didn't have in the budget either.
Mhm.
So by
Okay.
having no increase, this year, we're keeping the, so it came in at 808, but we're asking y'all to pay the 881, which is what you're currently paying,
Mhm.
and then have the option for the staff to buy up.
Okay.
What is the,
Yes.
so you have to pay the 3,000 deductible before the insurance pays anything?
No, that's,
Okay.
this is not an HSA, so you,
Okay,
all of your preventative copay, your preventative care, all of your regular doctor visits, your deductible doesn't apply. Your deductible applies under surgery
Okay.
or imaging or, experimental labs or regular, I mean, I guess your preventative labs may be
Right.
covered, but, any extra labs, anything big or outside of the scope your deductible would come into play.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you,
this is
Ms.
where it does get a little confusing with the changes in the ad valorem tax, but this will all, then these three right here will change and now say, move from debt service reserve fund. And so that's what these three are. But essentially, you'll be taking 32,535 from your debt service and moving it over so to keep your tax rate the same. We decrease, so we have, the Carolyn, who is half-time in the fire department, half-time in planning and zoning. I'm recommending putting her part-time. She would work 8 hours on Thursdays in planning and zoning, and the rest of the time she would work in the fire department. And that's
Oh.
12,000.
Okay, so she'd still support both
Oh,
departments.
well,
Okay.
she's in here. Sorry, that one's down here. Sorry. We have a fire engineer position, and I'm downgrading the fire engineer position to a firefighter paramedic position. Sorry. That's 12,000.
Okay, not.
She
yes.
is down here. I just read the wrong one.
Okay, Counselor Marsh.
So is that a vacant position that you're downgrading?
No, so essentially what happened is you have to hit certain qualifications in order to qualify for a promotion, and we just have a bunch of younger firefighter paramedics right now that the likelihood of me being able to fill that promotion position is probably like another 2 years out, if that. So it doesn't make sense to fund that position. I'll just keep the extra firefighter on. So what we do is we promote from internally, and so we fill all the firefighter paramedic positions, and we fill the fire engineer as a firefighter paramedic. And then we fill that position with the firefighter paramedic, if that makes sense. And so what we're doing is saying we're just not gonna fill the engineer position next year. We had in the budget a 2% to 1.5% decrease in the COLAs. And so that was 81,000. So instead of the staff getting a 2% cost of living, they'll only get 1.5.
Can I just make a note? I know I asked a question, and I've spoken to one of my colleagues this afternoon. And that was, because of the increase in gas and electricity, and I just got my electrical bill. I've got solar panels. What? So anyway, trying to bring it back up to 2, and I know I asked you if we could take just for one position of the fire department, temporary, not permanent. Did I say fire? I meant police. Excuse me, I meant police. And let me just read that to you. And because that would be $100,000, right? Something like that,
Roughly.
and so that would maybe cover increasing. I don't know, how much would it be to?
I'd have to go and do the math.
Okay. Anyway, so I just wanted the council to consider it, because, and then maybe we just need more evidence that we don't have, I don't believe we fill the whole year, the whole fiscal year with the whole 41 positions, because we've got people coming in and out because of, they come, they get trained, and then they leave. So anyway, then I thought, well, and if we did it to give the 2%, then could we, and we needed to, I'm not for, this is just temporary, just this year. I mean, we have to take the COLA year by year. And And then if we find in 3 months, oh no, we need to fill that position, the manager said we could go back to the crime control sales tax budget that's got 600,000 to, if we needed to for the rest of the year. I don't know. It's a discussion, and I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I just wanted to bring it up, so, okay. And I know Mr. Campos isn't in favor of it because I talked to him today, but that's okay. It's good for us to have a good conversation. But I wanted the staff to have the 2% and not the 1.5 because of the conditions of the economy, so. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I am also in favor of trying to preserve the 2% cost of living. We have stats that were presented that says property crime is down, violent crime, I think, is down. But when I started asking questions about the call volume, it's increased significantly. And I don't know if there's a future presentation that could be given to our citizens to show, okay, what are the types of calls that we're getting? It might not be property crime, it not be this violent crime, but our citizens are calling more and more. And as I was, in just my opinion, I think every citizen, when they call, whether it's emergency or non-emergency, the expectation is they want to see a police officer. Okay, so what is driving those numbers? So for me, here's my suggestion, and we'll probably get to it, but maybe how can we allocate more expenses to other funds, such as the street maintenance fund? And, where if our potholes are being filled and it's being charged to the Public Works Department in the general fund, that street maintenance fund is coming from a sales tax. Okay, but there's no activity, okay, because, and I understand why, but I think we have an opportunity to, our potholes or maintenance of our streets, where we had repairs, like I was mentioning to Dr. Caldera that down Seneca, close to Evers, there's this big hill, coming from Warsbach, coming to Seneca. There's a big hill coming down, and there's a lot of water rushing into that creek that's behind the Trilogy, okay? But it erodes the street, and the pavement has come up several times, and they've had to overlay that. And to me, that's street maintenance. It's not a capital expenditure, it's maintenance. So can we figure out how much or make an allocation from the Public Works in those repairs into the street maintenance, and then preserve, okay, then let's start adding back to the employees' cost of living. That's my plan.
Well, it's an alternative, and I appreciate you thinking outside the box, because I didn't.
The
Didn't know
other
how-
thing,
know that.
I think that, and I've spoken to this in a prior meeting, where it just appears to me that this street maintenance program, they're going to bring that presentation to us. But I think Mr. Demeline has spent a lot of time and effort on it, and maybe his assistant director. And I think an allocation of their salary should be going into street maintenance, because they're going to oversee this program in some way. And it's not a trick, but this is what they're overseeing this program. And again, it takes money, the expenditure away from the general fund into the street maintenance fund
So
that
it
is
would
funded.
add more money to cover the 2%.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing
And
you say.
then, so that's kind of why, that's where I'm standing, and how can we figure this out?
Okay.
And so I just talked to the manager just maybe 30 minutes ago about this concept. So it's not like she's got this answer right
No.
off the top of her
Well,
head.
I did not know that. I was just thinking about the vacancy savings for one officer for next year. That was all I understood. But anyway, that's another option, and I appreciate that. Yes, Counselor Heil.
Does a policeman have to respond to every EMS call?
Not every EMS call, but they have to respond to any juvenile. Anybody that comes over the airways is being under the age of 18. So that sometimes could be every call that day. You know, it just depends on what kind of calls we get.
I'm sure they have it broken down on.
Yeah, I was
on
gonna
the-
say, do we have it?
They don't have, I don't know, so call type is very hard to determine because of the way it comes in. And so it's not listed in the way that you think it is. It's not listed, and this is a property crime call. Sometimes something can be 3 or 4 things when it comes over. So they don't group their calls unless an incident report or report is written. And so, but we can give you a presentation on the types of calls we get, and what we have. Yes, property crimes are down, violent crimes are down, but your OD calls, your regular domestic violence calls, your other calls are up.
Okay.
And so, but he can give you all, a
That would be
presentation.
appreciated. I think we'd all
He
like
gave
that,
it, he
right?
gave one very similar to CPAC, so we can bring
Okay, very
that
good.
back to you.
Counselor Orozco and
Yeah,
then
that's what I was
Counselor
gonna say.
Marsh.
The police statistics are done yearly in your report. And I know the chief has put it out for the CPAC as well. But we don't have a current one of what happens, what
Well,
transpires in a
call
monthly.
type and crime data are 2 different things, right? Like we get 17 to 20,000 calls any given year. But of that, yes, you're on the flip side on your crime data, even though our call volume is going up, your crime rate is supposedly going down. But your crime rate that y'all are paying attention to
Are the-
is your property crime and violent crimes, or like your murders. There's other crime, right? There's drug offenses, DWIs, DUI. There's other things in that call type that we just don't break down. What we pay attention to is the actual call volume. How are our police officers being dispersed by the number of police officers we have on a given shift?
Okay.
And my second question,
Yes,
Mayor.
go ahead.
How many EMS bills or invoices do not get paid? What's the
Oh,
percentage?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because
Used
I
to be
know that I
pretty
mentioned it
high.
before.
Yeah,
that-
we've done, they've gone up
They've gone
recently.
up, yeah.
People paying have gone up. But
Used to be
I mean,
down a lot.
it
And
used to be
I don't
down.
know if I brought this up several years back, that veterans' bills are paid by the VA. They have gotten better at it. And they do pay for ambulances, and they do pay for services that are done outside the VA. I know that it's a different venue, it's a different line, and you have to call the VA, you have to do this. So I don't know if you really have the personnel to do that.
We don't do that. We have a company that handles our EMS billing. Emergicon is the one that handles our EMS, and believe me, they call and try to get every penny, because
Is
that's
there
how
a
they
way that
get
we can
paid.
make an inquiry with them?
Well, they do
So-
it already. They get paid based on what we get paid. So they're trying every avenue already, because the more that they bring in, the more that they get paid.
Okay, I just wonder how many don't get
I
paid.
don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like splitting it, I don't know how many of them are VA versus a regular person that don't get paid. I mean, we have regulars that use our ambulance company and tell us, well, I'm never gonna pay this bill.
Yeah. Okay, Counselor Marsh.
Thank you. I guess I want to say I'm not in favor of taking money out of a police vacancy rate. I think it's important that we identify the number of officers that we need, and we have to give the chief flexibility, especially with all of the officers that are on medical leave or military leave or whatever, that if he has an opportunity to hire a good candidate, we need to have that vacancy there. Because you're right, it's a moving thing, but you can't just take money out. You have to associate it with a position, and you don't want to take away that position that he might need to fill to cover for a military or whatever. So I'm not in favor of the police vacancy. However, I do agree with Counselor Campos that you've done an excellent job of reevaluating the percentages and what funds are being used for what personnel, and the percentage of that personnel being funded through that. And I think there might be opportunity in that street maintenance fund for some more money. And my other comment is, I don't know that it has to be a 1.5 or a 2. Maybe the answer is a 1.8% cost of living, and kind of split the difference. Because you came up with the 2%. We didn't say we need to make sure everybody gets a 2%. You started with that assumption, that that was your goal. And I'd love to give everybody that 2% cost of living, but if we can't find it through more of the percentages coming out of different funds, that's legitimate. I want to make sure it's legitimate, but maybe we go for a 1.8 or a 1.9 or something and just kind of jiggle with that number as well to kind of find the best of all the worlds.
Okay, thank you. Good discussion. Anyone else? All right. Okay, yes, Counselor Campos.
Is there any, when we're an HSA account, if we fund a health savings
savings.
account
We have had that
for,
discussion.
for.
We've had it. We've had HSA accounts
Uh-huh.
before.
Well, the question really boils down to this. Does it, because I don't know the answer off the top of my head as an accountant. Does the HSA, if we contribute so much per person, is that part of their taxable wages?
No, it would be considered, well, it's up to them. They could do it as a pre-tax deduction. We would run it through payroll as a benefit, and it would be considered a pre-tax deduction, but
But
they would
is
have
it
to pay
subject
fringe.
to, is it subject to Social Security?
Ooh, I don't know.
See, that, if there's a way, so it would be something that would be dollars in their pocket, but it would be the amount that we designate, right? As opposed to paying payroll taxes on top of it. And
I'd
that's
have to
what
ask.
I'm trying to figure out, if y'all can find the answer out. So maybe it is less than 2%, but we then turn around and saying, we want to give X dollars in a health savings account, because we're saving money on the insurance, and there's no doubt about it, but it's at
Their
Well,
cost.
it's
their
increasing,
cost.
yeah.
And so what can we do to blunt that in any way, but how do we reduce the amount of tax the city has to pay?
So I'm gonna tell you, we're too late in the year to do an HSA. We have an account set up, but when we haven't had it in 4 years. So we
Jed
basically,
Hefner.
yeah, so
Mhm.
we
He's- yeah, he set
basically
it up.
depleted it. We tried it, none of
Mhm.
the staff wanted to participate in it.
Mhm.
We asked if they would participate, if the council contributed to it. They didn't like that version of the HSA because you still had to pay a lot of things up front in order to qualify for the HSA plan. So HSA isn't, like, you're looking at it as, you stick to this plan, I give you the HSA, you can't. So United Healthcare and Blue Cross Blue Shield set up plans for your HSA. So our plan may not qualify for an HSA plan. Most of the HSA plans under United Healthcare are high deductible plans. And so we're done. Like, we either pick the renewal plan or the plan we're on, because I have to, and this is the reason, I have to give staff 30 days by law in order to make a decision for open enrollment purposes. So from
Okay.
September
We have
1
to
through
do that
September
next
30th.
week, yeah.
Oh,
So just so you know.
Right.
But we
Okay.
can look at it for next year.
well, how
Go ahead,
about, how
Mr.
about an
Campos.
alternative to say, we're going to contribute more to their premiums?
Yes, you could do that.
And it would have the same effect,
Correct.
right? So just some alternative, because I'm we need to get them a decent cost of living, in my opinion. And if it's, how can we pay less in terms of taxes? Well, maybe it's the cost of living of X percent, and we're paying more for the premiums.
Yeah, I
I'm
would need
just
to.
throwing out ideas.
Yeah, no, I'll take a look at both. We looked at doing something kind of similar, increasing by $100 on the premium cost on the health insurance to see if that would save you money versus the full two. We did run, so staff did run various scenarios to get where we got. And this particular, I was trying to have y'all give a little bit, which was the 0.315, and the staff give a little bit to show kind of like everybody's got skin in the game and we're trying to compromise. Now that we're not going up the 0.35, and that's coming from a reserve account, I can go back and see if we can look at the salary allocations and play with that health insurance premium number a little bit to see if we can come, but
Okay.
it's still dollars. Though
Yeah.
any way you look at it, it's still
Right.
dollars. I still have to find the dollars to be able to do it.
Exactly. Yes, Counselor Heil.
If they don't get, they're going to get a 2% cost of living, correct?
1.5 right
Okay.
now.
Are they going to end up getting less in their check? each month?
No, so the
After
way,
insurance?
the way that I did the base plan was that they would not lose any money. That's why I picked the plan that I picked. And that's why you have no increase in your health insurance. So they wouldn't, the amount that they would contribute to the base plan would be slightly, actually like $18 less than what they would contribute now. What goes up
is
is
their
the base,
deductible.
well, the deductible and those things went up.
Right.
So if you don't use your deductible, if you're just going to the doctor, you're just, you know, getting your regular prescriptions, then your cost should stay the same. It's if you have an actual medical emergency next year, then yes, they're gonna be impacted that way. The other thing that we took a look at, is the buy-up plan, because we know people like that traditional emergency room plan, like that traditional, 80%, but to buy up, last year to buy up was like $20. This year it's gonna be like $300.
300? Wow.
There's nothing more frustrating than to get a raise, but your insurance
Yeah.
has gone up and you're taking home less.
So
I've
that
been
would be
there.
up to the employee in the sense of if they wanna buy up for the plan, they're, you know, then that is gonna eat from their check. But if they stay with the base plan, then no. So each individual is different, each individual's health concerns are different, each individual that has children or family, each child and spouse is different. What we tried our best to do was to look at the least impactful. So we looked at the number of people on each of the plans. Currently, the utilization, I don't know who they are, just their numbers, the utilization of those plans, and pick a plan that would hurt the least amount of people, if that makes sense. So with the base plan this year, you're looking at like 6 to 8 people probably gonna throw a little bit of a fit. On the buy-up plan, that cost difference is gonna make people upset if they're used to buying up on their plan.
Sure. That's a big difference.
Yes, ma'am.
From 20 to 300. Okay, any other questions, comments on? Then we'll just move on then. We were,
Okay.
decrease revenue, transfer to personnel shared services.
Okay, so,
Is that, that's from the enterprise fund, right? Okay.
yeah, well, we decreased the transfer in
Mhm.
personnel services, but then, so you'll see a slight decrease, and then we went to decrease the fire and P and Z admin to part-time.
Mm-hmm.
And so she'd work 8 hours in P and Z, and the remaining hours, the other 10 to 11 hours in the fire department. Of course, everybody, I mean, fire and P and Z said they can make it work, but, you know, they're not happy about it. We increased, EDC project funding balance. We went down 9,200. We decreased the percentage allocation from the general fund to the enterprise fund at
Mhm.
133. We increased the revenue transfer and back to personnel shared service by 8,000 because we did the enterprise transfer. We decreased court professional services by 1,500. And so we have you balanced in this year's.
Would you explain that 133,399 decreased percentage allocation? Yeah,
Yes,
right
yes.
there. Because I was recalling that about, when Counselor
Mhm.
Campos first
We
came
moved
on,
everybody out.
we moved everybody out because
general
the
fund.
enterprise was actually funding the general fund. And so then what was it,
We're in the middle.
400,000?
Yeah,
And so now we're going back
a little
to
bit,
where
yep.
we're, okay, so.
That's the
it's
only
100
way I could make the numbers
I
work.
understand.
But if you don't want to
understand.
do that, we can certainly,
No, I just wanted the counselors that were not here
Yeah.
to understand what you're doing. If you could explain it a little bit more. Thank you.
explain.
Well, just, do y'all understand what
Okay, so
this is
what-
happening? Yeah.
what
I
we
just-
did was we shifted percentages of some of the personnel over, instead of like, over to the enterprise fund. And so you can see the splits here. So we decreased, like, we'll take the first one, the construction foreman, 50% from the general fund public works, so we decreased it to 40% in general fund. And then we reallocated that 10% in water, sewer, and stormwater. So we just increased it. Or
Oh.
water, I'm sorry, in this particular case, water and sewer.
Okay. It's,
Do you need me to re-explain? Does everybody get it? Okay, so
Everybody get it?
in 2026, when you paid for your construction foreman, he's paid 50% out of general fund, 20% out of your water fund, 20% out of your sewer fund, and 10% out of your stormwater fund. I reduced what you will be paying for him in general fund to 40%, and I reallocated that 10%, 5% in general fund and 5%, in water fund and 5% in your sewer fund.
Right,
See,
to make up for it, but not coming from the general fund, but coming from the
The
water
water
and
fund.
sewer.
correct.
Yeah, and keeping it the same in stormwater.
Stormwater, yeah, because
Yeah.
y'all are running a little tight.
Right. Okay, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay.
That clarifies it
So
for me.
we did that for
Then
for
that's,
all
yeah.
the rest of these positions. Oops.
Okay, great,
Oops.
thank you. And
And I
then
wanted
there was a
y'all to-
net increase of 124,667, is that right?
Correct.
Impact, okay.
And so these are just the same slides, how we moved people over in from your community and conference center, moved Miranda over. We moved the police, the red light camera employee over.
There was no change there, though?
No, that's why I'm
Okay,
skimming
just wanted to
through
be
these.
sure, there's
Yes,
no change
There's
there.
no other changes. All of those
Yes.
reallocations stayed the
Okay.
same.
Excuse me just a second, Counselor Campos has a comment.
And just to reinforce something, that
Mhm,
this is the plan where we're taking 2 officers out of the red light camera
mhm.
and into
Right.
the general fund.
EDC,
Right.
yeah.
The other option, if you want to save money, I can move one back over into your general fund.
I-
And you get your 82,000 that way. And you put your other officer back in your red light camera. So instead of doing 2, you can do 1.
Mhm.
I was trying
I
to do
wouldn't-
2 a year to
right,
kind
I
of get you
wouldn't-
there,
I
but
wouldn't,
I
no.
mean,
We-
that is an
because
option for you.
2037.
If I did every possible scenario for your budget, we would have infinite number of budget proposals. I mean, I can move money around.
Mhm.
I would rather see you look at the street maintenance fund to see how much we can garner from that, if
Yeah.
you will.
And I have to look at the law and ask some questions
Yeah,
to make sure we
that's
stay
right.
within that bound, yeah.
We found that out with the city of San Antonio with
Yes.
the Ready to Work
Yep,
program.
program.
They
Yes, ma'am.
can't use
They
it
can't
to
use- Correct.
to bring down that deficit, so.
So, But yes, I, absolutely.
Okay, any
Uh,
other questions on that?
This
Does
is,
everybody agree to keep it then as it is? Okay.
Mayor,
Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Marsh, thank you for helping.
I
Appreciate it.
definitely would not want to reduce the number we're removing from the red light camera.
Mhm.
I think that's important that we stay on track
Mhm.
with that process. And am I remembering right that one of those officers is going to the community development, the economic and community?
not them. I moved them into general fund and I moved a regular patrol officer.
Okay,
Oh, I mean, it's still patrol, but you moved one over to the EDCD.
okay. So we've already made some reductions in that
Yes.
to make up for those 2 that are coming over to
Yes.
try and help. Okay, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you.
So so I'm gonna go back just a little bit. You have 3 officers that we kind of moved in different funds. You have the 2 I moved from red light cameras over, and the way we were able to do that was we moved Miranda out and we moved code over into your EDCD fund, and we funded them out of general fund. Then I took 1 more officer and put it in your EDCD fund as a community resources patrol officer. Again, this is the proposed tax rate going up, but again, that will be, it will remain the same. So this slide will change for the 18th. And then this is just your projected revenue. This is your split for your general fund. You can see the majority of your money comes from ad valorem tax. Your operating is 15.66. Your capital expenditures is 3.4 million. You will see an increase in your capital. Your code enforcement animal control truck died this week, and so it was scheduled to go in next year's capital. We had to move it up to this year's capital,
FY '26,
FY '27, this capital.
27, okay.
Yeah,
not-
she's- I
I thought
have
she
some-
needed it this year.
Well, the other person that's in there is out, and so she's using his vehicle right now.
Okay,
And so, and then we still have the animal control truck, and we have, the Volt, but code, can't put signs and stuff in there, but it can be used temporarily to the next fiscal year.
okay,
I mean, you're looking at a month,
that's true.
or actually like 2 weeks, because he's gonna continue to be out for another 2 weeks, so,
Okay,
so. This is your breakdown of how your general fund expenditures, the majority of it's going to your fire department, and that's personnel, due to the increase of personnel in last year's budget by 3. This is the breakdown. The big change here is your assigned fund. We were back and forth of whether or not we were gonna be able to put down a deposit for your ambulance this year. And at our last meeting, the chief confirmed that they are in fact putting down the deposit for the ambulance by the end of this fiscal year. I think it goes out on September 15th. So we had to move it back. So you'll see that that's kind of come off of the assigned fund over here on the right-hand side. But you are balanced with a surplus of 37,550. This is your current assigned fund balance. These are all your revenues broken down. Again, your revenues again.
Can I
Sure.
ask, let's see, where is it? Franchise fees.
Mm-hmm.
City Public Service, $785,000. And I guess I'm wondering, you know, we've all read the paper and the governor wants to, you know, have CPS Energy be moved from sole provider to competitiveness. Will that impact our budget next year?
It
And
could
if-
if that's what happens, yes.
So that's a lot of money. I mean, you know.
I can't help what the governor does.
I know, but
Yes. So if,
I mean,
if
we
you go
still will
co-op,
get franchise fees, but
right.
I
It will
mean,
take us time to work them out though.
Yeah.
So depending on if they're going to do like a co-op
Uh-huh.
situation, you would ask that you would have to create, the process, the way I think it would work is unless they do something at the state as part of passing this co-op where they won't be required to have franchise, just like SAWS isn't required to pay franchise fees anymore. They could do it at that level, so you won't have any money there. But if they do a co-op and you would negotiate with each of those utilities what that franchise fee is going to be, just because CPS gives us, I think it's 3%.
4.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Percent, then that doesn't mean the other utilities are gonna be willing to give you the same amount of franchise fees.
Okay. Anyway, that's just something.
But yes.
Food for thought, because I don't know how, I know it would really impact City of San Antonio because it's a third of their budget, so I don't know. Okay, just wanted to make that note. Anyone else? Yes.
But I seem to recall that CPS, years and years ago, maybe more than 20 years ago, they had introduced where a provider could come in but no one ever did. And I don't know why, but CPS is not run like a regular governmental entity. It's supposed to be, it's run like a competitive enterprise. And yet, you know, it's going to be hard to say that a new provider is going to provide a better benefit in terms of rates to the city of San Antonio. As it is, even with 14% going to the city of San Antonio, the CPS has some of the lowest rates in Texas for their electricity and gas. And so I don't really know, I don't understand the rhetoric from the governor, as to
Well,
why.
I thought he was giving an example of Houston pays only 6 kilowatt and we pay 12 or something. I mean, he was giving those numbers. I'm like, really?
But there was an article, I think in yesterday's paper, or maybe even today's, I don't remember which day it was, that said that was kind of an inaccurate description of what
That's what
is
he's
the
saying.
reality.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
but anyway.
But yes, I mean, you're gonna have a lot of, so my big concern for y'all next year, there's certain things that aren't in your budget this year that are gonna come back, like your pool contract. You're gonna have to figure out where that $100,000 is coming from. So, you just have to kind of make sure that you're understanding this is where you're at today, but you do have future expenses that aren't in this budget that are considered continue operating expenses that you're gonna have to figure out for next year.
Well, and something that I wrote down that we kind of talked about before we leave the general fund, and that is the 75th anniversary. Were we going to allocate any money
I don't
to
have
that?
any money in there, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
give y'all the 4th of July presentation on the 18th.
Okay.
as to like what the survey said, but all you have
Okay.
programmed in this budget is
It's the 4th
15.
of July.
Yeah, I mean, y'all can't come to me and be like, make up the 82,000 and find money for the 75th and find money for the 4th of July and just make it happen. I mean, I can't make money appear.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you know, we can go look at the 82,000. If you'd rather keep it at 1.5 and us go look for the 180,000 to do the 4th, or add additional funds for the 75th. I think the conversation that came out of the coffee was to partner with the Historical Society at minimum cost and do some low-cost things. And Regina gave like some cool ideas of like having a 75th library card, and she gave me a couple of ideas that would be pretty low cost that I think we could do for that. But because the conversation hasn't really, like, nobody's jumped on that, and we're already at the tail end of this budget, and it's been brought up several times, since y'all, nobody's brought it up to me at all, I'm assuming
I just wrote it
that
down,
that wasn't,
so, yeah. I
that
think-
wasn't a priority.
Mhm.
But, I mean, I just want to make sure y'all understand that everything costs money
Mhm.
to some degree, and so if that's something y'all are interested in, you're gonna have to cut me some slack on where I can find said money.
Mhm. Okay, yes, Counselor Marsh.
I'm gonna kind of say that I don't know that the 75th anniversary has to be a celebratory expense. I think it's a recognition type event, and I think it would be possible to do it at a minimal cost. And something I'm thinking of, and Chris Miranda, with the hardware that we've already gotten for the flags on the whatever, city
The
markers,
the
whatever,
monuments.
to get
Mhm.
to get 75th flags, and to maybe change the look of the Lion's Roar over the year and make more of an effort to recognize the 75th, and do it in small, I'm going to say,
Bursts.
well, I'm almost going to say trademark ways, you know, whether there's a stamp on envelopes or, you know, something like that, just over the course of the 75th year, where everybody's recognizing it and acknowledging it, but it's not a reason for a party.
Well, we could have a cake. We've had a cake before.
Well, I mean, you're only
we
having, so
have.
the other thing that you can consider is you can take if you want to do something, you can take the money out of your general fund reserve to do it. It's a one-time thing. It's not like you're gonna have your 75th next year. So I would be pretty comfortable with you allocating funds out of your reserve fund in order to do something. If you're gonna take money out of your reserve fund to do anything, is that what you want to take your money out of your reserve fund to do?
Well, I think we need to have a conversation with the Historical Society. I don't think we've done that yet. So I know, Danielle, you were on their board. Maybe you'd like to broach that at the next meeting that you have, I think.
And then I know
Yeah.
we're supposed to have a joint meeting in November. You can
Yeah.
always do a budget adjustment if you want to, but it's, we can adopt the budget and come back next fiscal year for a small budget adjustment to do
Yeah,
something from it.
right. Okay, very good. Thank you.
These are everybody always asks what's in your other category when we talk about revenue. This is all your other. Municipal court, this is your personnel services, your supplies and contractual. This is the breakdown. Your finance department, personnel, supplies and contractual, and their breakdown. Oops. Your council manager, which houses your human resources director, your payroll clerk and executive admin, myself, and the city secretary, Sandra Passaley, and anything that y'all do. This
Yes,
is
Counselor Campos, thank you.
Thank you for keeping the pins. The $500 seems like a small amount, but employees need to be recognized, for their long contributions to our city. So I thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
your information technology fund, your personnel supplies and contractual service. Oops, that's your breakdown as well. Your police department personnel supplies, contractual, and their capital outlay. Your police department breakdown. Your police department breakdown in contractual and professional services.
Counselor Campos?
Is there any future needs from the police department? And I'm gonna ask the same question for the fire department, or we need to start earmarking from our reserve. Here's, I think last year we did some for the
Ambulance.
Right.
You
and-
will not this year, but next year, you'll have to start setting money aside for a future fire truck, probably like 100,000 a year until we get to that extra fire truck. But police cars and stuff, because they're under 100,000, I think you're still okay using them. Your reserve fund is pretty healthy, that you should be able to support those purchases. My big concern that's coming up for future expenses is going to either be like your radios or, you know, how, if we're gonna have to expend funds to do your property room out of your reserve fund, or your library, or if you're gonna wanna go out for a bond for those things, then your debt service dollar amount will come into play. So it's just kind of taking a look at that. But for right now, if you take a look at your 10-year capital, which I don't have in this budget, I was trying to keep this one a little bit shorter. And you look at future expenses, there are a few that will be coming up. And if you want me to take a look at that and give you some ideas for that, we can certainly take a look at that future 10-year capital and start allocating funds if y'all want to do that.
Okay. It's a
Just
conversation.
want to make sure that both
Um,
of our public safety areas are covered
Yeah.
and that we have enough funds.
Yes. So from your capital from police, it's your gym equipment, the property room plans.
Mhm.
Sorry, I keep hitting that
Yeah,
button.
can we go back to the property rooms? Yeah. I still say that's a lot of money. It's 500,000, right?
Mhm.
It's not just it's 300 plus 500. Do we have to have three options? Can we just have two? Can we bring that down? I mean,
Y'all's prerogative.
that's
I
just
can
my.
I can just do one and just swing for the fence. I mean, I
Well, I don't know. I remember you shared with me that engineering firms scour our budgets, so they know that we've got $500,000 in for engineering plans. And so, I don't know, I just think that just seems like a lot of money to me. And we are the stewards of the taxpayer dollars. And if we can get it for cheaper, I mean, still maintaining the standards that we need, the, steel whatever. I mean, there's a whole bunch of criteria for evidence rooms. And I had asked if we did a survey of evidence rooms around
and I said no.
and you said no, that we didn't. So, I mean, I'm just,
Right, because you wouldn't compare us to anybody else. Like, you compare yourself to what you have. And I make the same argument in regards to your water department. You don't compare your rates to everybody else. You compare to same thing like your water, you compare what you're taking in your rates in order to support your infrastructure. But your property room is the same thing. I mean, we can take in double, triple the amount than some other places. Some places take little evidence. Some people aren't following compliance regulations. Do you want me to follow them? I mean, that's kind of, I'm looking at it from our standpoint of what do we need here in order to support the average amount of evidence we're gaining. It's up to y'all guys. I mean, if y'all want to reduce it to 300,000 or something else, I mean, you can reduce it to whatever you'd like. My goal was to go out for probable cost engineering and getting some plans on an option. All of those will come back to you. Each step of the way, I have to bring them back to you. I'm not going to just go and expend this 500,000. It doesn't work that way. I was putting in a number to provide y'all what I thought was the most cost-effective project plan for the longest serving project. And I don't have experience in that. David, I can't even think of a police department here that could come in and tell us what we would need here. You would need a professional to come in and kind of evaluate that. I don't know if that's our Ardura or somebody else that has that level of expertise and what that actually looks like. But again, completely up to y'all what y'all want to do. If you want to reduce that amount, you're certainly welcome to. Yes, engineering firm, but everything you have in your budget. Budgets are looked at, and now with AI, I mean, engineering firms can put in people's budgets and say, what do they have budgeted for street maintenance, for everything. And so your bids from across the board are going to look like that for anything and everything you have in your budget. So it's not just segregated to property room plans.
okay. I know we spend an awful lot on engineering, that's for sure. So,
And you also do a lot of big projects. I mean, think
Yeah,
about it.
I
We did
understand,
5
I'm
options
just-
for the Heavener
yeah.
Creek project, and you've already spent $500,000 just on an erosion, a possible erosion plan. So
Well,
do you expect any less for
yeah.
infrastructure that's gonna last with the
Yeah.
city?
Well, it was, you had said it was 345, 395 on the erosion control. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to say that I am in favor of looking at all the possible options because they are so very different in terms of expanding the police department, making a new standalone building in a vacant lot, revising or tearing down a house or whatever it is.
Mhm.
I wasn't even thinking along the lines of they look at our budget and decide, well, they have this much to spend.
Mhm.
So I guess my only other question would be, is it possible to put less money in there and then and still go after the multiple options? And if it runs more than that, to take it at that point in time from
Yes, you
from
can
the general
certainly,
fund?
you can certainly do that, but then,
Mhm, I do
then
too.
why don't you do that with the rest of your budget? Right, like you just put in a lower amount for your street maintenance, your mill and overlay. I mean, that's
Well,
the thing.
no,
I
I'm
don't
just-
think, here's the thing, guys. I don't think you're gonna spend all 500,000. I do think it's gonna come in a little bit less, but I had no frame of reference. And in our original discussions, I just asked them to shoot me like, what would this cost? And based on what we spent on the Hebner, that's what I was kind of going off of. Based on what we spent on Hebner Creek already was kind of where I was going at for like building infrastructure, security, because you also have to look at, it's not just the building itself and the standards. You also have to bid out like what your electrical is gonna cost, what your security system is going to cost, the shelving, the bin, like all of that goes into that project. But again, it's not a hill I wanna die on. If y'all wanna reduce it, certainly feel free to do that.
Do you have some, a
Well,
follow-up? Yeah.
I'm not really advocating to reduce it. I'm just saying if we were to reduce it, and I don't want to be unreasonable about it, but if we were to, would it be an option to pull the necessary additional funds from the reserve fund?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm more committed to saying, I think it's important to get the three options, whatever is reasonable for that. I think we have to look at the best possible plan for the future with the evidence room. So I'm fine with the 500,000. I just think, I just wanted to state my position as being in favor of looking at all the options.
And the other thing to consider though,
thank you.
in this budget, you also have that the 500,000 is split over accounts. And I'm gonna tell you, I mean, unless I told you where the 500,000, some of y'all wouldn't even catch that there's 500,000 in there because it's split over 3 different accounts. So to assume that the engineers are gonna go through each of our budget accounts to try to figure it out
They're pretty smart.
is a whole other.
Yes, Counselor Heil.
I just have a question. Does it have to be done this year? Or can we
No,
want?
yeah, it has to be done this year.
Okay. So, and we're just getting this so that, and we're shovel ready so we could get a grant potentially.
Well, no, I don't know. You could get a grant. Funding options will come later because I have no idea what this will cost. I don't know if it's $1 million, $3 million. I don't know what it costs to do something like this. So whatever that comes out, then I would bring that to you. Here's the probable cost. I'm not even picking the option. I'm giving y'all the options. What do y'all want to do? Y'all are going to tell me how you want to fund it. Do you want to fund it by a bond? Do you want to fund it by a CO? Do you want to fund it out of general fund reserves and still take it to the residents of Leon Valley to have them vote on it? Do you want to, I mean, whatever that looks like for y'all is going to be completely y'all's decision to make. There's several options in funding that you can do. This part, though, the funding of the plans can't be paid for by anything else other than fund balance. Like I can't go out for a grant for these plans.
But it has to be done this year because we're running out of room. Is that the?
That is
that the,
correct. And y'all have taken tours back there, y'all have seen it. Even with the
Yeah.
expansion, it is,
Yeah,
And-
I just knew that we had done some expansion, but it's just to meet the immediate need.
Correct.
And
We
it's
knocked
not the
down-
long-term need, is that what I
correct.
understand?
We knocked down a wall and expanded
Yeah.
in the,
And so
literally a
that's
jail
not
cell
gonna
area.
last for a year. In other words, it's gonna last for a couple of months or whatever. Okay,
I'm hoping
yes.
it'll last a year.
And
Yeah.
along with that, the chief will tell you that it's imperative that we show them that we're trying to work on it. So we're trying to be compliant as much as possible. I know that Mertz and somebody else went on the tour. And
Oh, yeah, I went on
it
the
would
tour
show the
too.
state that we're working on it to be compliant,
Yeah.
then what we're not compliant on, I guess we won't be gig on it, but we show that we're working on
Right.
it.
They try to be softer on you. So when you're not in compliance and they come and they do the audit, but we show them like, hey, we run out of room. This is what we're doing to the best that we can do, but we have plans and the council's actively taking an approach by, budgeting plans. Once we get the funding, then we'll consider the funding options for that. And so when they see that you're moving towards compliance, they typically don't ding you as,
Is it really true we didn't have an evidence room for 60 years?
no, who said that?
I thought that was what they said at the CPAC, is that we didn't have an
Did y'all
evidence
go-
room.
Who went to the CPAC? No.
Yeah.
We
The
had-
chief
And
can
then-
answer
And
that.
then
No.
we had one, and then it was out of compliance, but we've gotten
No.
it into
So y'all
compliance
had,
since.
so,
Salvaggio, come on in.
yes.
Chief, how long have we had our evidence room? Since day one, since we became a police department, or did it evolve over time?
All police departments are
Go ahead.
required to have a property room.
Property room, okay, sorry.
I hope y'all had one when you created a police department.
Okay,
But there is evidence there that has been there for a very long time.
Okay.
2015, whenever the remodel was done.
okay, that was in 2016,
So that's when the proper room upstairs was created.
okay,
In 2017, when I started working here, you were out of compliance.
right, okay.
So that was just 10 years ago.
That was just 10 years. Okay, good, thanks for that clarification, do appreciate it. All right, thank you. Counselor Mersch.
I was just going to say that I feel like it's not only urgent that we get this planning done as soon as possible, it probably should have been done in this fiscal year, because knowing how long construction takes, and I do appreciate the fact that even if we're not in non-compliance and we're on our way to compliance, then we're looked at a little more favorably. But I think we're already behind the 8 ball in terms of the planning and deciding on a construction option and moving towards construction, just because everything takes so long. So I think it's absolutely urgent that we get these plans done as quickly as possible.
Okay, and how long will that take?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm
You're
gonna have to
saying
go
it's
out.
urgent,
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
so say October 1st, we do the, whatever, we do requests for proposals, and then, okay,
So it's gotta be out for 30 days. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
that goes into
Yeah,
it. My
I
initial
understand.
thing, what I'll initially do is probably get with Byron, ask him for some probable costs, estimates, my option, because he may come and say, this won't work at all because of X, Y, Z. Like, I didn't even wanna, I couldn't bring Byron out and have him give me an assessment, because that costs money. And we haven't budgeted for it yet. And they're kinda, with the police department, it's always 50-50. You have people that support the police department, then you have people that, not that they're not supportive, but they think we're overspending in the police department. And so trying to balance when we're gonna bring something of this magnitude to you in order to support the police department is always kind of like a cushion game. We bring it to the CPAC, see how the CPAC feels about it, kind of their approach to it. And then as we start moving forward, then we start bringing it to y'all. And the property room I've been bringing to y'all for 3 years already. In your future infrastructure plans since the town hall meeting, it's been on the list. It hasn't been pulled up from the bottom of that list until now. We're telling you we don't have a choice, but we've been telling y'all we've needed a property room for at least 3 years.
okay, yes, Counselor Campos.
So, again, this is a capital item. It's not gonna increase,
Impact, yeah.
reduce. It's neutral to
Mhm.
our surplus or deficit that we were talking about before. But keep in mind that this is just a dollar amount that we could get into a contract after we've released an RFQ. I don't even know if Adura has the expertise in doing this.
I don't know.
And we'll find out. But we could end up with a contract not to exceed 300,000, but come back for an amendment if we need additional options. And again, she's trying to stay within a framework, which is the budget of 500,000. Doesn't mean we're gonna spend all of it.
Right.
And that money that we don't spend just goes back into the reserve. So it's whatever we allocate, it's not gonna harm anything. And if we reduce it, then there's now an administrative cost, because now it's got to come back to do a budget adjustment all of that. Why not leave it at 500,000? Hopefully, we negotiate something less than that, but you have the freedom within the budget to make an amendment that would come to us for approval.
Yeah.
So,
Everything, guys, I'm not willing, everything I understand, any infrastructure, anytime I put anything in the ground, the pool, anything we do, I bring you back options and options and options. Your pool had 5 options, 4 options, I don't know, we ended up with Plan C.
It was 4.
And so, you know, and your erosion project, we're on 4 options. So that's the thing. And every time, I'm not picking the option. I'm never like, you're going with Plan C. And so I'm always bringing you options and giving you the opportunity to decide, especially with big projects. I understand the politicalness behind a lot of this. I understand that y'all have to answer to your constituents, but I also have to make sure that I give you recommendations of what I think you need in your budget. And then y'all tell me, if you want to reduce it, I'm fine with reducing it. We can come back that way. If you want me to have more, I could go out and meet with Byron next fiscal year and he tell me, you know what, Crystal, we can't expand the police department. It's a no-go because it falls in a floodway or, something I just don't know. And that option gets taken off and we're really only looking at 2 options. I just don't know any of that yet, and I didn't have any money in this budget year to start going out and requesting those kinds of services from them. So, that's
Okay.
where we're at right
Well,
now.
this is a discussion, so I
Yeah,
just wanted to bring it
absolutely.
up and see where everybody was coming, and it's just the way we do it. I mean, we could do 300,000. If it comes back, we need to do a budget adjustment if it's more, or 500,000, like Counselor Campos just said, and if it's less, then you put it back into so it's, half a dozen of one versus the other. So I was just looking at it as the engineers seeing this top dollar of 500,000. So what would you, why wouldn't you want to bid it up higher? That's was where I was coming from, but maybe it's not, but anyway, so it doesn't matter. So whatever the consensus is on the council, I'm just trying to have a discussion because this is our last really deep dive into the budget, because Dr. Caldera is going to take what we say tonight and then put it into the budget on the 18th, and then we really are committed, and we've got to move it from there. And you're right, Counselor, it's not going to impact the citizens' tax rate. This is capital. I understand that, that kind of thing. So anyway, it's really, I just wanted to have this discussion, that's all, because I thought 500 just seemed to be too high, but that's just where I'm a cheap person. I really am very frugal. Frugal. Yeah. So anyway, but again, just knowing that engineers are looking at that high number. That's all. So, but anyway, so what's the consensus of the council? I think Dr. Caldera needs to know, right?
Well, Ms. Mercer said leave 500,000.
Yeah.
Mr. Campos said leave 500,000.
Mhm. Anybody
I
else?
saw head shakings over here to leave the 500,000, but they didn't say it out loud, so.
I guess. Okay. All right.
Isn't it 300,000?
It's 300,000 and the other 2 are in different
Yeah.
funds.
So it's the
Oh,
total of
okay.
five.
This
That's why
is
I
just
said,
a-
like, somebody
okay.
would have to know to go hunt for it.
Oh,
Like I said.
oh, okay. Well, I don't, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so that's the consensus to leave it at 500. Okay, I'll be real curious to see $499,999. I'm telling you, I'm gonna bet you 25
But if that were
cents.
the case, then every one of your projects would come out at the
I'm
top
just,
dollar.
I'm being facetious. I'm
Yeah.
just teasing you.
I
So,
think she's a
yes.
tough negotiator. That's
And
what I
so-
think.
Okay, very good. All right, so moving on to the impound lot.
I think I could take, the bulldozer and just demo and save us some money. I would love
Mhm.
to
There
just
you
knock down
go.
half the building over there.
Okay,
Impound lot, no really changes here from what y'all have been presented. Fire department is here. You have your personal supplies and contractual services. Your fire department, the breakdown for your office supplies, operating, and EMS supplies. Your professional contractual services as well. Your vehicle, other machinery. The only thing from here, when we're talking about the 82,000, I did talk to the chief briefly about, his travel. It doesn't look like we've been kind of hitting that mark every year as far as training, and that has to do with, staff turnover and, availability for people to be able to go to training. So we may be able to reduce the training dollar amount a little
Where is
bit.
that? It's
Um,
not here,
it's
but
over
where is that?
Right here, travel amount 35,000. So if you look year to date from the years prior, we really
Okay.
haven't been hitting that.
35, okay.
Mhm. And so, that is also an option, and we had some conversations about that as well.
I mean, even if you reduced it,
I don't,
5,000.
yeah,
just don't-
I have to go back, I
5,000.
don't remember what it was,
Okay.
but there's possibility for
Okay.
reduction there.
All right, so another pot of money possibly. Okay.
Correct. Your, vehicles and your other, machinery and equipment, your capital for here is your stretcher, your rescue airbag, your thermal imaging camera, your Extron server in your training room. Your other ambulance portion, that's kind of the money that you're, putting away for the other portion of the ambulance that we put $200,000 on now. So this is the other half. Your support truck, and then your auto posts. Your public works department, here are your office supplies, operating and repairs and maintenance. Your professional services, your contractual services. Your
Now,
vehicle.
would you, oh, I guess we have to wait till we get to the enterprise fund to show us where you wanted that change. So we got to wait for the enterprise
It's
fund.
within this fund,
Correct.
Is?
Yeah,
within,
Okay,
because
so
this
show
is
it, yeah.
general fund
Show
money.
it, yeah, show us where you,
So
what your idea is.
Any type of supply, repairs and maintenance that deals with streets, the repairs of streets, and what is our history been, can that money then be allocated over as an estimate out of the street maintenance fund and reduce the expenses out of our
Right,
public works here,
right.
as well as allocating portions
Some
of the
salaries.
salaries over to,
Okay,
Yeah, because if you look at your total supplies here, 75,000, that's nowhere near, or it's not the 82,000. And the good portion of here isn't dealing with streets. It's your postage, your building
yeah.
maintenance, you know what I mean? Like,
uh-huh.
that doesn't have anything to do with the street. But there could be some street supplies in here, as well as some salary items that we can take a look at. But Carol and I will work on that
Okay.
and get that back to you.
anything that, I don't know if we hire outside firms to do, I don't know what the detail, if you go back one
Mhm.
more slide, what the
Mhm.
details are of repairs and maintenance external, where it's,
Wait a minute. Where's repairs and,
go
oh,
back
there it
one
is,
more.
internal.
Right here on this, where under, right here, we've got 25,000. I don't know what that is, miscellaneous supplies. And then we have down here in contractual services, repairs, external,
Right.
Mhm.
are those, any of those
Oh, 90,000.
related to
Street maintenance.
street maintenance?
Most
And-
of those are your stuff that's going wrong in our buildings here.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay,
like right now, if you look at your year-to-date, Carol will give you your year-to-date at your next council meeting. We had like the fire department bay, we're gonna have to come for budget adjustment, but fire department bays went out, that had to be repaired. So that came out of the public works budget. But we're gonna, I think we're gonna end up doing a journal entry. Fire department ended up having some savings, so I'm gonna move that back over to the fire department. The library AC went out this
Yeah,
year,
that's right.
so that comes out of here. So they're kind of overspent. The duct cleaning for the fire department
Mhm.
came out of here. So
Mhm.
it's, this repairs and maintenance external isn't public works related. It's any city building. It could be the community and
Mm.
conference. Now, we go back and we take a look. If somebody has money, then we put it in those accounts. So that's the purpose of last week's meeting. So
Mhm.
anything, because public works is the one that gets the contractor, they do it internally and they're the ones that buy the supplies, it initially hits their budget. But like right now, that if you look at their budget, they're overspent. I think they're at 109,000.
Mhm.
Some of that needs to be reallocated into different departments, but they hit that number every year. Some of it isn't, that's not streets, or street repairs or any of that. But let us go through the budget
Sure.
and we will try to allocate, see if there's anything we can allocate to the street.
And we only allocated 70,000 for this year. Next year for external is
Mhm.
90, so we are, if you said it's already over 100, so, yeah.
But that's the thing, we just have to make sure that we're managing which department, those things, I can't anticipate when things are gonna, I would love to,
Sure.
I'd love to have a crystal ball. Unfortunately, we thought the AC in the library was gonna hold on one more year and it went out
Mhm.
this year, so.
So no crystal ball, but Crystal Caldera.
Yeah, no crystal ball. I wish I had a crystal ball. It'd make this process a lot easier. So yes, but we do have some, here's the repairs and maintenance internal. We do have miscellaneous. Again, it's just things go wrong, and that's where that comes from. The Public Works Department, again, here's the contractual breakdown. This is your capital, your 2 vehicles. The Public Works plans, this is half the amount. City Hall AC cleaning. And then we move on to your planning and zoning department, your personnel, supplies, and contractual. This is the breakdown of your planning and zoning. Your economic development summary. This is the breakdown of personnel, supplies, and contractual services. This is the breakdown of those. Oops, I feel like I missed a slide, sorry. This is your office supplies, operating supplies, professional services, and contractual services.
No. I'm sorry, you said you had put more money back into the economic, is that what's on your summary?
No, we took
Or what did you
out, the project funding.
Uh-huh,
You have 9,000. Remember, I zeroed it out in order
Yeah.
to make it work?
right.
But after we got all the final numbers in, you had a little bit of money left over.
We didn't have anything. We said we were just gonna go to the reserve fund if we needed projects,
Correct,
right?
but
So now we've
after
got 9,000.
correct.
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
It's economic development, your capital overlay, these are your items that you have, your agreements that you still have pending, Royal Tile, the Little Caesars, this is the other half of your Public Works building, Tyler Technologies upgrade, code enforcement breakdown of services. We do have the code enforcement truck added. I don't think we're gonna spend 75,000. I was talking to the chief. We think we may be able to buy one of his vehicles from him. But we need to take a look and get Kelly Blue Book on what that cost is going to be. And if we get it by the end, I'll reduce this amount.
And do you have to like do some kind of special,
Yes, so kind of like what we
Yeah.
did the last time we purchased the vehicle from him, from the police forfeiture account. And so we just have to move the money over, show the purchase, and that it meets the Kelly or the Blue Book value for that vehicle. And so I think that's what we're gonna end up doing to save us a little bit of money.
but do you have to put special cages on it or?
No, this is
That's
just
what I
a
was-
base truck. So we
Oh,
have
just a
the
base
animal
truck.
control truck. I mean, I know it says animal control, but we have the animal control truck, which has the AC and the cages in the back.
Okay,
We use that when we're really transporting them to like Austin. But if we're sometimes picking up, it's just easier to maneuver the dog in the back seat of a truck, of a pickup truck. We're also picking up, it's used for code too. So you're picking up
oh, that's
bandit
right.
signs and you're picking up just stuff.
Mhm.
And so I say she, but he or she would need a pickup truck to be able to do that.
Okay,
And we've been
gotcha.
we bought the Highlander for the code through
Mhm.
the same kind of, I think that was an impound vehicle. But it was already used, it already had a lot of miles on it, and it finally just bit the dust.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, all right. Any other questions on that? Okay, thank you.
and then you can put an open air cage in the back of that truck, like, you know,
Open
the,
air
like the
cage.
one, the wire cages.
Mhm.
Instead of the enclosed running the AC, we can use that cage to transport within our 3.56 miles safely. But we wouldn't use that to go all the way to like Austin Pets Alive or,
Mhm.
you know, Converse or something like that. We would use the animal control truck.
Okay,
Your special events, again, I have 15,000 scheduled for your 4th, your 7,500 for your Christmas tree lighting, 27 for your Earthwise. Yes, we're gonna do a rollover for them next year. And then 389,000 for the American Legion. These are the breakdowns. Parks and Rec, this is your personnel, supplies, and contractual services. This is the detailed report. Again, nothing has changed here. This is your professional services, your contractual services, your Parks Recreational Department. I'm sorry.
excuse me just a second. Counselor Campos,
Going back to the contractual services,
on Parks and Rec?
yes.
Okay.
So
thank you.
just to point out, this is, if you see right here, pool contract, you see in 26, it's 108, it's 0. So when the pool goes back up, we're gonna have to make up this amount. And that's what you had talked to us about earlier in this presentation.
That is correct.
Okay.
So for your capital next year, we have your Phase 2 H&B, your Veterans Memorial Monument, your hike and bike sprinkler, your right-of-way tree removal. That's coming out of tree mitigation funds. Your natural area tree mitigation to remove trees in the natural area. Your library, your personnel supplies and contractual services. This is the breakdown of the library. Professional services and contractual services for the library. Your capital here is the flooring for the children's wing area. Your enterprise fund, your operating revenue is sitting at 5.5 million. Your operating expenses sitting at 4.8. Your transfers out to debt is 104,000. Your transfers out for personnel is 1.4, and your capital is 1.4. These are just the slides on the impact fees, what they can be used for, what they can't be used for. Your sewer cells and your water cells make up the majority of this fund. Your capital and your contractuals, your highest amount of expenditures. Your summary of review and expenses, this is just the breakdown of your water fund, and you'll be leaving this fund with 2.3 million as your ending fund balance. These are your water cells, your sewer cells, your stormwater, your connection fees, your customer fees, and tapping fees. Last time you authorized us to reduce the stormwater capital to 700,000, which leaves you with an ending fund balance of about 77,000. And your water and sewer combined is sitting at 2.2.
Yes, sir. Counselor Campos.
Technical edit,
Yeah.
if you could just, on that slide where you're doing the net position summary, that water capital, that number, if you could revise that number.
Sure.
It should be 290,000.
It's 290. There's an extra
290,000.
Yeah, there's an extra zero in there.
Okay.
Carol was trying to get away with 2.9 million. Your water fund, your water department breakdown, your water department professional and contractual services, your water department water rates were also reduced, and your water main replacement is reduced. We've reduced your purchase rights to 140, replace your water mains to 150. Here's your sewer, your supplies and contractual for your sewer department. Your operating, your repairs and maintenance internal, your miscellaneous supplies, professional services, and contractual. We also reduced this capital to 150,000. You replace your water main citywide for 150,000. And then here is your stormwater breakdown, supplies, contractual, and capital. Here is your operating supplies and your contractual. Your other machinery, we're looking at purchasing. We don't have anything geared up except for your erosion project and your stormwater. Your red light camera fund, here is your total resources is sitting at 2.8. Your total expenditures is 1.9. Your total expenditures is 2.3, and your ending fund balance is sitting at 523,000. Your personnel services is 725. Your supplies is 23.4, and your contractual services is 931,000 total. Your expenditures here are sitting at 1.6. This is the breakdown of your office, operating professional services and contractual services. Your traffic safety, you'll see none in your personnel services. These are the 2 police officers we moved over into your general fund. This is the breakdown of your supplies, contractual, and capital. There's no changes there. Oops. This is your professional, your contractual, and your repairs and maintenance. The one thing that will change is trusted driver. We have 5,000 sitting over here. We got notified today that there's a transition going on with trusted driver, so we don't know what that looks like yet, and whether or not that number will remain the same, go down, or go up.
What is trusted driver?
That's the ticket writer
Okay.
transition that goes to the court portion.
Okay.
It's not the writer
it's
itself.
not the writer.
the stuff. They could do it from their phone and issue the ticket from their phone, and that's what gets uploaded to the court. So it's the
Okay.
transition or the go-between or the bridge between court and the police department issuing the citations.
is the trusted driver.
Correct.
Okay, very good. So got to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what that number looks like, so just more of a heads up than
It
anything
could be
else.
an increase, though, is that what you're
Could be an
saying?
increase, could be a decrease, could
Okay.
be a
All right.
figure
good.
it out situation. We're not
Alright.
quite sure. We're operating currently the way we used to with our ticket writers and uploading it that way. This way was supposed to eventually save money so we wouldn't have to purchase ticket writers and we could do and issue tickets. They're kind of moving to the phone. A lot of them are going to their phone applications. And it looks like there's some negotiations to either buy out trusted driver or in trusted, there's something weird going on. So we got notice today, and so that we may have to either stay with who we're currently with or move to a different program, and so I just don't know what that looks like yet.
Yes, Counselor Marsh.
I'm going to ask a stupid question, but if they go to writing tickets with their phone, is that their personal phone, or does every officer have a?
No, we would get
city phone.
some FirstNet phones. So, but the cost of replacing an iPhone is way cheaper than replacing a ticket writer.
Say that again?
So replacing a phone is cheaper than replacing a ticket
Okay.
writer. So the
Okay.
problem is like the ticket writers with the receipt machines, they get left on top of cars a lot of the time. Like they put them on top of their car and they take off. They just go bad and you have to reprogram them. You need software updates. Like all these years with ticket writers, there's just different things that can go wrong with them. This way was supposed to be more efficient, cleaner. People prefer their tickets via text now. They don't need a paper ticket anymore. And so
Okay.
they're kind of moving in that direction. So
And they have their court date on the bottom of the
everything, everything's
Everything's
electronic
there. Yeah.
now. The ticket,
Mhm.
you get it on your phone.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
so you can't say you didn't get it. It's uploaded. So yeah. But yeah, so that we were trying to move towards that. Oops, I don't even know what I just did there.
Crime control.
Yeah, and so here you'll see the FirstNet phones for Trusted Driver right there, underneath him. Okay, Traffic Safety Crime Control Prevention Fund, 446,000 in revenues. Your expenditures are sitting at 439. Here are your revenues, expenditures. This is your personnel services, your supplies, your contractual, and your capital. This is the breakdown of your operating supplies, professional services, and contractual supplies. You have a detective vehicle, a flock safety camera for next year. And then the other part of your property room plans. Community center operating revenue is 100,000. Your operating expenditures are 100,392. This is the summary. This is the detailed personnel supplies contractual. This is the detailed breakdown. Your professional services contractual and your contractual services, as well as utilities. We are budgeting 160,000 to redo the restrooms in the conference center. Here is your street maintenance fund. This is what Mr. Orozco was referring to see if there
No,
was anything.
Mr. Campos.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Yeah, that's
Campos.
okay.
Is
Just-
referring to, in regards to reallocating, supplies or expenditures over here. So we'll have to do a little bit of a detailed breakdown of your, expenditures here, which we can certainly take a look at doing. Your special revenue funds, you have your Grant Leos Fund, your, court building security fund, child safety fund, municipal court technology, debt service, and police forfeiture fund. This is what you can use your Leos fund for. This is the fund, this is your Leos fund, and we do use your training funds. This is your contractual travel. This is your court building security fund. This is what you can use that for. We do have some money geared up for next year for that. And then when we get ready to do the property room stuff, you could use, like, for your security technology portion of this, I think you could pay a portion of that, a portion of that into there. Court building security fund expenditure detail. Your child safety fund, which is your school crossing guards. We really need school crossing guards, so I'm gonna continue to plug that, cause Hebner was a mess this morning.
Oh, I
And so
bet.
we,
Who is filling in?
we have nobody
I
I
mean,
don't
the
have-
kids are just
willy-nilly in it, cause I don't have a school crossing guard.
okay, or with their parent or somebody.
Yeah.
Wow.
So please, if you know of anybody that would like to be a school
Mhm.
crossing guard, please send them our way. I think we have one application that's in background right now, so that will
Mhm.
help a little bit, but we really need that second one. So
Mhm.
if you know anybody,
And you need one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
whoever.
And he's retired.
And this is your child safety fund breakdown. Here you go. Your court technology fund for municipal court. We do use this. We use it for like your pen pad receipt machines. We use it for computers. Your court technology expenditure portion. And we do pay for a little bit of encode out of here. We're now moving on to your debt fund. This is your refunding bond, which is 3.5 million, and your 2016 CFOs are 1.5. This is your debt service. Earlier when we were talking about your fund balance, here's your 611,000. We're gonna be taking that $33,000 from here to offset your debt service, and so your tax rate will remain the same.
So could you explain that balance? What can you use it for?
You can only use it for anything to do with your debt. So
Can we try to pay off another fund a little bit to reduce our monthly?
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
couldn't do your refunding. I still think you're not in your repayment period
Okay,
yet,
we're
but you
not.
could look at
Okay.
your CFOs if that's something you would like to do. I would have to get with Ann. I'm not,
Sure.
bonds and debt service isn't it, like
No,
in
that's
my
a
wheel.
specialized.
Yeah, it's not in my
field.
wheelhouse. I
Right.
mean, I could try to chat GPT it
Mhm.
for you, but I'd
Yeah.
call Ann instead.
Okay. I know we refinanced our debt
Mhm.
about,
So
when
that's
was
your,
that,
21?
2022 or?
No,
20
2021 's right here.
2021.
your
Okay.
principal interest and your refunding geos right here.
Mhm. Oh, here it is, right there.
Yes, ma'am. So, the big thing is taking a little bit of that and making sure we keep your tax rate, we'll keep your tax rate the same this year. Your police forfeiture fund, that's what you can use your police forfeiture fund. Oops. I
Have
don't
we
know what's
gotten
going on
any, have we gotten any money in the police
not-
forfeiture fund deposited this year? I haven't heard.
No, if we did, it's been very little. I don't think
Okay.
we've gotten anything. We did. Take a
Oh.
look. It wasn't a lot. It
Okay,
wasn't an airplane or anything.
yeah, we've gotten some big, in the
Checks in the
past, but I haven't heard of anything recently.
I'll have that
Okay.
number for you next time.
Okay,
So the estimate
Yes,
in
go ahead.
2026, that's 214,000. That's
I'm
how much
sorry?
we have received.
seizures, the 202,916 is what we got this year? Okay,
Your estimate.
all right.
So there you go. So your ending fund balance here is 903
And what can this
Only
money
for
be
your-
used for?
only for your police stuff. Here you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
So this fund serves as the vehicle. You can, equipment upgrades, you can do community outreach, efforts to support public safety, you can use
Mhm,
officer
so
training programs and professional
Could
development.
could it be used for the radios in the future?
Yes,
Okay,
or
Alright.
portion of it. And so
Portion of
when
it,
I
yeah.
did when you take a look at
Mhm.
your breakdown for your 10-year capital,
mm-hmm,
there is a portion sitting over
Okay.
there. It's
all
not,
right.
I had to split it because you only have 2 guys over there.
Mhm.
And so it has to be allocated for those 2 guys, but
Mhm.
we stuck a portion of it.
Okay, thank you. Before we move on, I was just gonna ask about the flock camera,
Mhm.
because I know that's coming up, and, I mean, it came up in our city council meeting last session, and we are gonna have a presentation, but I guess my question is the first year was a grant for 50,000, and then what we have in this next year's budget's for 50,000, and we had to commit to 2 years, or is it flexible? I just don't know, but will Police Chief Gonzalez address it when he presents to us?
As far as what? So it's
Yeah.
if you have a 2-year agreement, you can get out of the agreement if you want to get out early. We just have to notify them if you want to get out early.
Yeah,
So we can get out early if you want to get out. I would recommend that you do the 2 years at minimum, just so you
Mhm.
can see if it works
Mhm.
and that it's, we're living up to the policy and we're doing
Mhm.
everything we're supposed to be doing.
I
Because
have
we're
just
in-
heard so many, I mean, do we sell that? I have so many questions, so I guess we'll just wait for the
Yeah, so the chief will
presentation.
be
I
doing.
mean, this
the
is not just locally, but it's also the head office in Atlanta and what they do with the data.
Sure.
I mean,
So the
I'm
chief,
concerned.
the chief will be giving a presentation at the beginning of September.
Okay.
And so in that presentation, whatever
I'm-
questions you have,
But I guess my question is, if the council didn't want to continue, we wouldn't have a penalty? Or
I
would
have to
we?
look at the
Okay,
contract,
I'm
but I
just
know that
curious.
there was a opt-out provision
Okay,
in there, but I
all
don't
right.
remember if
If you
it
could
was a-
just let us see that, so we'll have all of the
Mhm.
information to
Yes,
make
ma'am.
a good decision. And then, of course, we'll have the updated numbers and, right,
for what?
for the the flock cameras, who they've identified. We have stuff like that. I mean,
No, the flock cameras aren't set up to just identify people. And so they're set up to, if you
That's-
have a very specific case you're working on, to utilize the flock cameras to support that case. They're not just watching the flock cameras to find people doing something wrong. They're not trying to identify anybody. I emailed y'all the policy, to show you what that policy is. We will also be doing a transparency page for the flock cameras on the website, and the chief's been working with Miranda on that. Javier, in Bear County, they're doing the same thing. He's launching his portion of his website and what it looks like if y'all read the paper. He gave a whole editorial on his flock cameras, because Bear County's getting ready to get flock cameras as well. So, but yes, in that presentation, we can give it to you, but there's no numbers and like usage, because they're geared towards case use.
Okay, because I've seen on the internet that the flock cameras don't just identify, that's what I thought, it would identify the white Chevrolet that had a burglary in Balcones, and they come into Leon Valley, and that's what we're looking for. And this said that they do all of the license plate numbers of all of the cars.
Right, so if you're looking
So-
for a vehicle, it identifies whatever cars pass by them, right? It's a license plate reader, right? So it identifies all the cars, but we're not looking at every single car that's going, I don't have the staff time or the staff to do that. All it's looking for is if we have a burglary here in Leon Valley, and we're looking for a white, whatever, we
Okay,
can
it's
go
not
in
from
and-
outside of our city.
Correct.
Okay, so if we have any questions prior to the,
You can,
flock
you can
camera, we
list all
can-
your
okay,
questions,
that'd be
whatever
great.
you Google and you
Okay.
have concerns about, please send them our way. We'll get them
Yeah.
geared up to answer them for you. We're trying to work with other agencies, like if we
Uh-huh.
had the Amber Alert, right? If we had a
Yeah.
kidnapping, we want them to be able to look at their flock cameras to see if the car that we're looking for went by there as well, that's a case. So if Balcones Heights or Universal City called us and said, hey, we have a kid missing or kidnapped at such and such, and they're in a, we definitely would look at our flock cameras, like to try to help and assist. But we're not looking for immigration purposes. We're not
okay,
looking to try
ICE,
to.
you don't
ICE,
sell,
we're not,
we
we're
don't
not
sell our data
information.
to,
We're
okay,
not
that was
giving
the
that
other,
information. Correct. But
okay.
if you have any questions,
I
please
will.
type them out and
Thank
I'll
you.
send them to
And
you.
then also, how many other suburban cities have flock cameras
We'll
besides
get
us?
that
I'd
number
like
for
to
you.
know.
I don't know
Okay,
what that number is.
all right. Anything else? I just thought since we moved,
Yes.
we mentioned it, and
Yes.
we're now going to personnel. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just-
So your personnel, of course, we adjusted the salaries. We do have longevity pay included. Your benefits program is funded. Your retirement sitting at 19.49. I know this is hard to read. Everybody complains, but this is the percentages of all the breakdowns. So if you print it out, it's pretty easier to see. But if you'd like a larger version of that, I can email it to you. We will be closed from December 24th through January the 4th. We will have a public hearing on the 21st and adoption of the tax rate on the 15th, but I'll give you a cleaned up version on August the 18th.
Okay, you had been including September 8th. Do we need to
I took
set
it,
aside
I took it out
September
because it
8th
seems that
as
y'all
a-
have been we've been getting direct now on the 18th. If you have, now all of a sudden you want to raise the tax rate for whatever reason, or
Oh,
then I've got to add, or
well,
decrease
yeah.
it, or do something
I don't,
major, then I would have to add the September 8th meeting
Yeah,
back in
okay.
order to make it all work.
I just wanted, because it had been September 8th on here, and I just wanted to be
I
sure everybody was
plugged it in so
aware.
everybody
Yeah.
could plug it in, because
Yeah.
last year we kind of crunched
Mhm.
timeline and we were kind of trying to figure out a date. And so I just programmed 3 in September just in case, but it looks like we're on the right track, that we
Okay.
should be fine.
So as of right now, it looks
We're-
like we don't
right,
have to
unless
have
something,
another.
like, again, unless y'all don't, I do something in the
Okay.
budget that y'all want me to
All right.
redo or something like that, and we have to bring
Very
it back.
good. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, thank you very much, and thanks to Carol and all of the directors for your efforts. I know we say this all the time, but it's a work in progress, and boy, I can't believe we've gone from negative 450,000 to plus 3,500, so that's
And the
good
tax
work.
increase.
So thank you, yeah. Okay, any other questions, comments before we adjourn? Yes, Counselor Heil.
I would like to know how the public works guys are out there mowing the lawn. It's 115 degrees. I don't know how they're doing it.
I
It's
think,
incredible.
don't they come in earlier now? Dr. Caldera, don't they come in earlier?
We try to. So
Yeah,
once they hit the
mhm.
heat, so we just kind of play it by ear. Once the heat index goes up, we try to have them come earlier. and have them leave earlier, so they're working earlier in the day. But we kind of leave it up to them for the most part. You know, we provide Gatorade, we provide extra breaks, we do everything we can to help support them because it is hot. We ask more for the community's patience. The guys are getting to it as quickly as they can. The extra rain this season has caused some overgrowth, and so we get keep getting pulled. Like, please cut the historical house. Can you cut the trail? Oh wait, Silos is high. Bandera Road needs to be cut, and so they're getting pulled 3 different directions. So we're just asking everybody more for patience than anything. They have a schedule. They are working through their schedule, and they are maneuvering as quickly as they can. So
And they do a good job.
thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank the Public Works. They cut the natural area. The weeds were, I mean, it was up to here. I was going through, wading through this. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that because it's important. I don't want to get a tick on me. Anyway, but I also want to thank my colleagues for the open discussion and the questions and
The
reaching
respectful
consensus.
open discussion.
And I really appreciate that. I really, really do. Because we may not all agree, but we're very respectful and we agree to disagree. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Okay, anything else from anyone? All right. Well, 8:25, I bet, Angela, we'd be out of here at 8:30. So I win the Maytag
And
Award.
there you go.
She said, no, Mayor, it'll be 10:30. And I'm like, no. So without further ado, without further objection, we move to adjourn at 8:25 on August the 10th. And we'll see y'all next Tuesday at the next city council meeting. Thank y'all very much.